stages, 27%, so 27 seconds left in the qualifying of the pro race. We've got Seshan leading the pack with 144.402, followed very closely by Thiago, and now Brian has managed to get a pole moment. So provisional pole to Brian, followed by Seshan and Thiago. That's the top three we see as we ride on board with Brian again with the finishing stages. The audio is still a little bit on the low side, but Angelo has managed to get fourth place. We need a little more volume, Sam, from the microphone. That could be possible. We're getting feedback that the commentary is slightly below the car sound, and we can hear Angelo there at the moment as Seshan has managed to hit Brian into pole again, and a phenomenal run of 143.8. That's a brilliant timing by Seshan. 143.810. Seshan, just a very, very keen boy. So Seshan leading the pack as we see Brian having a bit of a moment there, just a smidgen away. That's Seshan leading Brian and then Mevan and Thiago, Angelo as the timings come along. I think I managed to find the problem here. The problem being that I was a little too far away from the mic, and now I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, Seshan is going to be going into the first corner, followed by Brian, Mevan, Thiago, Angelo, Viren, Dasun, Kevin, as I see the 8 drivers waiting for starters' orders. Seshan is off the mark, followed very closely by Mevan. And that first corner is going to be a very crucial one. Brian manages to get the inside line, yes, and Brian slowly gets his line in there. Seshan closes the door beautifully, and you see Brian followed by Seshan, followed by Mevan, followed by Thiago, followed by Riaz, Viren. And it's a brilliant start. It's a lovely start. And we watch the Mevan getting pipped by Thiago, but the lead pair, Brian has got the better of Seshan. Seshan trying his level best here, but this is a game of gamesmanship as different drivers will be taking different strategies around this circuit. The top 2 drivers pulling away all as it goes along. Seshan just watching on the outside, trying to see, interesting to see whether he does break a little late in that very sharp right-hander. Mevan getting the better of Thiago. Thiago coming back on the switchback. Again, Mevan. Where is Rice? Rice is there in his customary car. All these cars carrying different logos. Angelo Senratna in 6th. Kevin Pereira in 7th. Where is Rice win? Rice was quite far in front. That's a beautifully branded car by Rice. And Rice is there in 8th place. Viren in 9th. Viren again, I think, has chosen the better car again. Nice car here. Everybody, I think the choice has been pretty much the same. The Supra is not being used by many. Dasun Ranatunga, as he comes out to the main straight. Dasun right on the tail of Viren. Viren on the inside, keeping on onto the left side to make sure that Dasun doesn't go around. Dasun trying to go all the way around the outside. I think he may have, but that's a bit of a tough one to do because you got to brake really late. Viren knew that, held the inside line. Imdad Hussain, Imdad the man, he's there as well. Riding a bit of a lonely day, 16 seconds away. I'm sure he had a bit of a moment at the start. And we'll ride back with Brian. Brian managing to keep the pace. And Seshan trying very hard to rattle Brian. But you see, Brian is running a different car. Sam, Brian has decided to run the Toyota, the Lexus, but there is a bit of an issue. This particular car, the tire degradation is pretty high after lap number 6. It's quick in the first 6 laps, and then the tire fade is very high. I think Seshan knows that. Seshan may have tried this car as well, as Seshan has pulled away. Is 1.7, 1.9, almost 2 seconds away from Thiago. Thiago, I'm sure, is getting. No, he's not. He also has pulled away from Mevan. Mevan trying very hard to rattle Thiago, but Mevan is also having Angelo and Riaz. Riaz has got the better of Kevin, but Kevin has fallen away from Rise as well. So Riaz. Mevan, the second brother, again also having taken the Lexus. That's going to be interesting to see these guys, whether they have a different strategy on their run. So Mevan and the elder brother Brian have deciding to run the Lexuses, whereas the others, okay, so all three brothers have taken the Lexus choice today. That's interesting. They must have been practicing the Lexuses and have found a sweet spot, because there's 1, there's 4, and there's 6. The 3 Pereira brothers who are running in the same car. We'll ride on board back again with Seshan. Seshan still hassling Brian. Seshan hassling Brian all the way. And this 10-year-old boy, he has matured amazingly to do what he's doing now. Amazing. 10 years, 11 years of age. He has never raced anything else in his life. And he's keeping a gap of 2 seconds away to Thiago. Thiago sitting in the slipstream, watching as he has Mevan Pereira just within DRS range. If he were driving a car with DRS, but there you see Thiago, and then Mevan also will have to manage his fuel, manage his tires. As you see, the Lexus at the moment, the tires having a lot more wear than the car of Thiago. Thiago's tires have gone off a little bit more. Seshan's tires are equal to Thiago's, but the top 3-4 drivers are running a race where they're managing their tires, managing their fuel, and Seshan getting slowed down by Brian, if you ask me. I think Seshan is the faster of the two today. He hasn't got the legs to find the little gap to get past Brian. Brian is a phenomenal driver, our current champion of 2021. These drivers, he's actually the reigning champion from 2021, the defending champion, as one would say. Not the reigning champ, but the defending champ, as Seshan puts 4 wheels off there. Interesting race there, and a battle brewing between Mevan and Thiago as well. There's no quarter given or no quarter asked in both these drivers. One smidgen of a mistake made by one, the other is going to pounce on that. And I think they're all settling into a bit of a rhythm, I would say. And Riaz is being now hassled by Angelo. Angelo is another fantastic driver, go-karter, and Angelo trying his level best to get the better of Riaz. All these cars branded with our sponsors, Lap 57, House of Glass, J Homes, and Pit Pass. I would say that this is Riaz getting a little ragged there. But in the process, Riaz seems to be catching Kevin as well. It'll be interesting to see a battle brewing between the two brothers. There's a 4.
In this race of 13 laps, the drivers have completed already 5 laps, going to the sixth lap. So the drivers, and if you notice the two different variations cars that these guys are driving, the Lexus as well as the Nissan GTRs. I think on the Lexus, the tire degradation is a bit more quicker than the Nissans. So that's what these guys needs to watch out. As well as I think on the Nissans, the fuel burn is much higher than the Lexus. So they might have to put a little bit of a strategy when it comes to playing around with the tires as well as fuel. Pit stop strategy needs to be spot on. As you know, this track is a high flowing track because you have long sweeps and all of a sudden you have these corners. That's kind of very crucial. If you don't brake on time, you're going to be in the sand trap. That's what you need to watch out with this particular track called Autodrome La Maggiore.
We're 7 laps in. We've got three drivers who've already gone into the pits. We've got Kevin, we've got Thiago, who managed to, who decided to go in. I'm sure they've gone in because their tires have seen the better days on the circuit. This race, a total of 13 laps, 11 drivers taking part, and Sashan seems to have got the fastest lap up to now. Brian still holding fort in front of Sashan. The Lexus seems to have lost its tires, but as I see it, there seems to be quite a bit of degradation on the tires. That's why I said earlier, Sam, there is quite a bit of there is quite a bit of degradation on these tires, and these cars do have better fuel burn in the Lexus, but as you see, the top two drivers have identical amount of fuel and the identical amount of tire wear. So they've managed this thing beautifully. Their driving style is such, and Mevan 2 is about the same. The others have decided to go in for quite a bit of for a full stop as well. I saw that some of the cars that when they came in, they did have about 33% of fuel. So the catch being that they decided to go in because they found that their lap times were dropping. So there you see it in better days as Angelo sees his car slide completely off. There's something that went wrong with Angelo. Angelo seems to be coasting. I hope he's not lost power because Angelo's car at the moment, Angelo has frozen. We don't know what happened to Angelo. I think he had a problem there. He's gone off the Zoom call as well, and that's the sad thing. Angelo was trying very hard to get there, as when the drivers have gone into the pits and come back. Seshan has got the better of Brian there. Seshan in a beautiful move down there, outbreak Brian, and I'm wondering whether the pit stops, he hit it. He fueled a little less. Yes, that's right. Seshan is an amazing guy. He fueled less in his car. That was an amazing bit of gamesmanship. He needed to get in front. He put in a little less fuel and got in there. And Brian had to yield because Brian didn't see that one coming. I hope the young man has done the calculation right, because this is a very, very crucial point. You've seen all the drivers there have done their fueling, and Thiago has dropped into fifth. Kevin and Mevan are now third and fourth. Beautiful to see Seshan holding fourth there. I'm not too sure exactly what the tires were, but there seems to be that some have managed to take a little bit more fuel. The ones who did the undercut had to take in extra fuel, whereas the guys who took the pit stop one lap later managed to take on less fuel and get more track space. So there you see it. A Seshan leads Brian, by Mevan, by Kevin, by Thiago, by Riaz, by Dasun, and then Viren. Let's right on board with Viren. Viren is at the back having a bit of a lonely race. He's got Dasun right in front of him, and he's got Rice Web. These guys at the back, I don't know what happened, because these guys are really, really good drivers. Viren in the real world, Rice in the real world, and Emdad in the real world. They are real world drivers. We've lost Angelo, and these guys have managed to run on different strategies. So let's see what exactly the strategy was as we ride there with Thiago. Thiago running the brands of SLT Mobitel as well. Lap 57, House of Glass, and J Holmes trying his level best to get the better of Kevin. And these three cars all holding fourth in the top 3 places. So there you have it. 4 Pereiras within the top 4, top 5 at least. Kim Mevan, they're chasing his brother. He's actually catching him. It'll be interesting to see whether Brian, Mevan, and Kevin, whether they will come into each other's slipstream. So Seshan there again. These guys, they're trying their level best. Amazing drive by Seshan. Let's see, Brian in the slipstream there. He might outbreak there. That's going to be a tough one. On the outside is tough. But the beauty is that these guys don't touch. They have a lot of respect for each other. Ladies and gentlemen, Brian driving all the way from Australia, and little Seshan driving all the way from Talawatugoda. So that's the great thing about e-sport, where drivers from different parts of the world having this whole process happening. As we have coming to the twilight minutes of this, we hope that we do not have a power cut at 2 o'clock, and that we can finish the next 3 laps before this happens. We're cutting it absolutely fine, fingers crossed. Before Sam with his fingers and toes crossed right next to me, hoping that the power will not go. As this is an amazing race here. Seshan, Brian, Mevan, I think Brian, they are running a little wide there, and the top 5 drivers falling a little away from each other. As you see, Brian has now fallen back a little bit. The tires of that car now may have seen a little bit of bad time. I saw Brian running a bit wide in the 4th corner there. Ran quite wide, and that would have harmed his exit speed, but Brian has caught him again. Brian has caught up, and he's back again in the slipstream. There you see it, right on his tail there. Brian, beautiful driving by these 2 guys, Brian and Seshan. Mevan not really making an impression to second. Kevin again not really making an impression. Thiago not really making an impression on them. I think they've all settled into these places, because when the reverse split happens, Viren will be leading the pack from where I see it. Viren will be right in front. and it'll be good to see how the other drivers catch up. Again, we ride on board with Brian. Brian has fallen back. He's now 6 tenths away, 7 tenths away, and that's not really going to make any impression here. We've got 3 laps more to go. We are now on lap 11 out of 13. Again, we hope and pray that we can finish this thing right before the power goes off. We can, in race control, we see all the drivers there. We can see little Seshan wearing a blue t-shirt, and we see Brian there, Brian as well, driving with a bed right behind him. Interesting times, as these guys are literally racing from home in the Ceylon Motorsports Club Race at Home Championship, which is a part of the Global Esport Initiative. And Sashan has now made 8 tenths, almost 9 coming along now. And I think they're Brian having again a bit of a moment. This is what happens. This Lexus, the tires do give way quite fast. As you can see, Sashan's tires are far better. Let's see how the other brothers are. His lap times are also pretty much closer to Mevan's timing is way better than Brian's. So Brian seems to be losing here, whereas you see the others are just falling off the grid. Brian has now dropped to 1.1 seconds away from Sashan. I have to give it to Sashan. Come at the time, come at the boy. Here he has. He's performing brilliantly. The stress is not killing him. And while I watch him drive, it's an amazing sitting position that he has. Very different to how a normal race driver would sit. The steering wheel almost on his lap. He's biting his lip, biting his tongue, and driving. Very cute. As you see, Brian in a totally different mindset. As Seshan has clocked the fastest time of 1:44.686 in this race, and Brian falling off now, and Mevan at the moment catching Brian. I don't know whether Mevan can make an impression because they've got just 1 lap more to go. As Kevin, Brian, Mevan, and Thiago have not really given a fight to the top. Thiago being 12 seconds away from Seshan, I can see the attitude of the car is that he's not really giving it a bit of a push. His tires have also seen of better days. He's given it all he has, and right now it's on a drive me home mode, I would say. And Kevin there also just managing to just keep the car on the circuit, not really trying to go for fastest laps. His fastest lap has been on the 9th lap, 1:45.521. He's at the moment 1.3 seconds slower than his pace, so he's falling off the pace as well. The guy who's actually maintaining a decent pace is Mevan, but Brian, in a last ditch effort, is giving it all he has. He's dropped it down by a full 1 second, where almost in the last lap, the power is just about to go. I think, and we're gonna just for the sake of understanding where things are, we're gonna take a bit of a photograph just in case the power goes right out now, and so that this would be the finishing order that will be deemed as final. We're on the final lap, and this, ladies and gentlemen, in case we have a power cut at 2 o'clock, will be the final finishing order. Seshan, Brian, Mevan, Kevin, Thiago, Briaz, Dasun, Viren, Bryce, Emdad, and that would be the final starting order. And Angelo would be the last, and there's a reverse grid happening here, which means Emdad Hussain will be starting the next race on pole, followed by Rise, and Viren will be in 3rd place. Dasun will be in 4th, Rise in 5th, Thiago in 6th, Kevin in 7th, Mevan in 8th, Brian in 9th, and Sashan will be starting the next race in the reverse grid in 10th place. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is the final bit of, in a couple of corners more to go. which will be the end of round 2, race 1 of the pro race. The next race will be 2 AM races, which will be back to back. And we wish all our drivers all the very best as we come into the last bit. As Seshan Gunasekara, 10 years old, there you see it, just about makes it into the last few corners as he goes down that last corner onto the start finish corner. Main straight there, long straight, as Seshan beats the boys with his flashes his lights, says thank you very much, takes the checkered flag. Brian Mevan Pereira now comes along the start to the start finish. He's 6.9 seconds away. Kevin Pereira 10 seconds away, and followed by Thiago. Thiago now coming past the start finish, which is 15 seconds away. Rise UM with 21 seconds away. Viren Dasun Ranatunga in 7th place. There you see Dasun coming around the last corner, followed by Viren, and very closely, Viren being closely followed by Bryce. And our last driver, Mdad, the man of from House of Glass. We thank our sponsors, House of Glass, J Homes, Pit Pass, and not forgetting Lap 57. The Ceylon Motorsports Club Race at Home Championship. And you see all the drivers there now coming along to the finish line. Mdad in the last bit coming round. He's a bit of a lap behind, but yet for all, participation is great. And Mdad Hussein, there you see it, finishes the last bit there. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We'll catch up with you shortly.